is far from ideal, man. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Like speaking. Yeah, hello. Can you hear me? Hello. Testing, testing. Yep, no worries. That's correct, yep. No, that's fine.
Welcome to Tasmania Valley Road for the NPL Tasmania clash between the Devonport City Strikers and the Glenorchy Knights. Introducing your two teams for today's game for the visiting Glenorchy Knights. Number 3, Matthew Burgage. Number 4, Jack Glover. Number 5, Jeremiah George.
Testing,
Number 6,
testing.
Dugan. Number 7, Riley Gillen. Number
Hello,
8,
hello.
Gary Correa. Number 15, Alfred Hess. Number 17, Adriano Gigankas. Number 19,
Hello, hello.
Ashley Bader. Number 22, Stimpy and checking the corner, Enrico Giorgio. Number 9, Brandon Copland. Number 12, Simon Paul. Number 13, Nathan Dearhair. And number 18, Harry Kane. The Devonport City Strikers, number 1, Taylor Harper. Number 3, Dominic Vick. Number 6, Dick Jordan Dean. Number 17, Brady Kennedy. Number 8, Nathan Dollaway. Number 9, Josh Dollaway. Number 12, Isaac Payne. Number 8, Jordy Payne. Number 22, Brady Last. Number 23, Connor Park. And number 24, Liam Kelly. Bench number 2, Tate Lyle. Number 4, Toby Barton. Number 5, Cody Sursia. Number 11, Courage Lewa. And number 15, Josh Scrimger.
Good to go. Perfect. Thank you. Thanks, mate. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tasmania Valley Road for this NPL Tasmania Round 8 fixture, Saturday the 9th of May, between the Devonport Strikers and the Glenorchy Knights. Under a clear sky here in Devonport, football arrives dressed not merely in colours but in symbols. The Devonport Strikers come armed with lightning on their crest and thunder in their ambitions. Second place in the table, chasing glory. And across from there, the Glenorchy Knights, 7th in the standings perhaps, but they carry a name that belongs to legend. Knights do not fear storms, Knights ride into them. This feels less like a fixture and more like an old medieval tapestry come alive. Steel against the lightning of skyfire, shield against storm. So here in Tasmania, where the wind bites and the floodlights burn against the evening, we're set for 90 minutes between storm and steel, and we are underway at Valley Road. The Strikers seek to tighten their grip near the summit, and the Knights seek something equally dangerous, an upset worthy of legend. And a ricochet early, Devonport throwing in their defensive half. From your perspective, Devonport Strikers in blue, playing towards the left-hand side of your screen. The Glenorchy Knights in white, playing towards the right-hand side. Throw in. Brady Denny, he jumps, and the smallest man on the ground wins the header. Then Jolivet playing it wide, bit of miscommunication. Liam Kelly onto the ball early here for the Devonport Strikers as they progress forward. Kelly allowed to take several touches through the midfield into Payne. Looks to be lining up centrally today. Up the line to Kelly. And taken by the Glenorchy Knights, who will take over proceedings. And they look to switch the ball out to the left-hand side for the animus of George. He comes to Burkic. Burkic inside finds Riley Dillon. Verduga on the ball. So spread it out to the right-hand side, and miscommunication there between Verduga and Shagunkas. And the ball just rolls harmlessly out of play. And we are a couple of minutes here into this one at Valley Road. The Devonport Strikers at home, sitting second on the table, do enter this one as favourites, but were defeated in their last league fixture against the ladder-leading South Hobart, as the skipper Glover fights for it with the youngster Geordie Payne. Kelly at the top of the box for the Strikers, a dangerous position. Kelly allowed to wander into the box. Oh, no, it was Bates, sorry, into the box there. Bates now. He looks to spin. He flicks it up, but Verduga, midfield counterpart, wins off the chest of Jolivet, and then driving forward was Caria there, and dragged down by Jolivet cynically. And a more stringent official might have penalised him with a slice of cheese there. Not on this occasion. Play simply to just restart. Alfred Hess on the ball. He leaves it for George. George once again wider out to Burkic. Nods back to Hess. Dangerous here. Good ball in behind from Hess. And was just out of the reach of Hussein as he looked to get onto the end of that cross. A bit too narrow the cross, and Tiger Harper, the Devonport Strikers stopper, by way of Adelaide and then Japan, then Western Sydney Wanderers, finding his way to Devonport. Tollerby, by way of England and New Zealand, new to the Devonport Strikers outfit this season, and he's made an excellent start to life at the Devonport Strikers, scoring in all but one of their league games, and that solitary league game was last week in their defeat to the ladder-leading South Hobart. Glenorchy Knights, however, enter this fixture in a little patch of good form, having beaten Ulverston and South East United in the Cup in their last couple of games. The ball in towards Brodie Dennehy. He stretches, and once again, not the tallest man on the field, but he gets his head to that. Burkic. George. He won't switch back out. Instead, he goes longer up towards Dillon, but favours Park, the Devonport captain, playing his 100th NPL game today. An experienced veteran and a great leader for this team. Congratulations to him on that milestone. Dominic Smith. Out to Park. The run then from Brady Last on the score sheet last week. A wonderful lob over the goalkeeper. A bit of miscommunication at the back. George keeps it in. Burkic up towards Caria. Nodded down. And a good cushion header towards Hess as Dennehy for company comes inside to Dillon. Dillon back to George. And they'll look to switch through Divon in goals. Out then to Preble. The only change to the Glenorchy Knights. Starting 11 from last league game. Replacing Thomas Walpole there in the 11. He comes in at right back. Devonport Strikers have made a couple of changes. Courage Lewa and Thomas Barton to the bench. And Geordie Sheen and Geordie Payne both coming in. So 2 changes for them, 1 for the visitors. And Devonport had enjoyed an undefeated season up until the defeat to South Hobart last time out, and looking to get themselves back on track. A lovely longer ball there from Dominic Smith, nearly finding Liam Kelly striding forward, but hooked away clear. 5 minutes into this one at Valley Road. Tucked away to the top of the 18-yard box there where Jolivet is favoured. He's challenged by Hussein. Ball out to the wing, looking to cut back there. And Ricochet had a play for corner for the Devonport Strikers. There. So last season between these two sides, very tight affairs. And Glenorchy Knights seem to get the better of their Northwest Coast opposition in those three fixtures last season. 2 draws, 1 victory to Glenorchy as Jolivet stands over the corner, 2 arms raised over his head towards the near post. It's low, out of play, a decision for the official to make, and he awards another corner. Jolivet will get a retake. And another corner, and once again Brody Denny rising high, getting his head ball, but on that occasion not a Divins goal, and he will have the task of putting it back into play from a goal kick. Tolliver and Payne pressing up high, so Glenorchy Knights decide to play this one longer up towards the halfway line, and they'll battle for it there. Long up past the halfway line, headed forward by Carrier. They'll battle forward on the wing, flicked inside, Hess first to it. Looking to slip in Dillon, his pass inaccurate, cleared away. And Preble has some space if they can switch it to the opposite wing, but Hess has found a pocket to turn. To Burkic. And back, and now the switch is on. Back to Divin in goals. Divin and Burkic jumps, beats last. Park down to Jolivet. Looking to hook it towards Payne. Payne on his heels, and Glover steps in. Gets it towards Hussein, but inaccurate. And then driving forward from the wing, Kelly. Slide tackle in from Maduka. Andres Lagos Viduga. Or throw. Geordie Sheen to take. Towed back to him from Jolivet. Jolivet under pressure from behind. Sheen had stopped his run forward. He flicked it in. It's going to favour Devonport. Kelly continuing his run forward. Can he cut it back? It comes to Payne. And the linesman has flagged that that one has gone out of play behind the byline. It'll be a goal kick for the Glenorchy Knights. This time they play out from the back. And having wandered forward, George now out of position, flicked on, favouring Divin in goals though. He's happy to collect that one. Majority of play in the Devonport Strikers attacking half so far in these opening 10 minutes. In the past 3 years, both of these sides have tasted glory. Both have won the league, both have won the cup. Devonport Strikers doing the double in 2023 and Glenorchy doing the double in 2024. Last season it was South Hobart at the double. Famously that 2024 season came down to the last minute. Devonport arguing that Payne's shirt had been pulled there. Play allowed to go on. Carrier. Back to Burkic. Glenorchy continuing to try and find a way through. George to the skipper in Glover. He tries to go longer that time. Ricochet, Bates, the Kiwi heading. The 100th gamer attacking. Smith to Sheen. And last is on for the switch here. Tiger Harper in goals. The Devonport Strikers chooses not to use that option. Comes to Bates. And now Devonport can play forward into Tolliver. Back to Park. To last. And then up to Tolliver. He's continuing his run. He couldn't get around George, but a good tackle from last wins Devonport back the ball. Tolliver. And without options, he tried something a little creative and skews it, had an awkward angle off his boots and a throw in for Glenorchy Knights. And once again, we settle into this pattern. Glenorchy Knights trying to play out from the back. Longer this time, looking to get it in behind last to Carrier, but Tiger Harper across quickly. And he gathers at the second attempt. Decent crowd in the new stand here at Valley Road for this round 8 NPL fixture as we move towards the completion of one full rotation of fixtures. The ladder tells a story. South Hobart, last year's premiers, the favourites. Sheen now driving forward from the back. He looks to slip in Tolliver. Doesn't find him. And a strong challenge from Sheen on Hussein and a late whistle from the referee, perhaps upon advice from the linesman on the far side of the pitch. So I've mentioned Tolliver's strong start to the season. He currently sits second on the leading goal scoring charts with 10, only behind perennial goal scorer from South Hobart, Nick Morton, who was on 11. Brodie Dennehy sits in 5th on those goal scoring charts for the Devonport Strikers. 6 goals to his name. They are certainly 2 to keep an eye out for here in this one. Park. Longer up the line, asking a bit of Payne. Payne jumps and jumps well, wins the header, but no one at his feet to support. Hess brings it the other way to Dillon. Out towards Shigunkus. And he slips past Jolivet, and Jolivet brings him down, a foul, and the Glenorchy Knights will have a free kick just inside their own half. Now last season these two sides were barely split on the ladder. Devonport Strikers finishing 4th on 35 points and Glenorchy Knights 5th on 33 points. Ideal season for either of those two teams. Devonport enjoying a much better season so far this year. Glenorchy Knights not so. Glenorchy only 3 points so far. Six points from their 7 games. They'll be looking to add to that here. Last. Cuts it back inside to Bates. The 19-year-old fires one across the pitch to Kelly. Has a chance to run it. Preble cuts back on the right foot and outnumbered in the end. And Glenorchy, through the animus of Shigunkus, can come the other way. He gets it towards Hussein. Carrier brings it down in the midfield. Out to the overlapping Burkic. We'll see this all day. Burkic and Dennehy. Dennehy can get to him. Burkic a chance to pick his pass now into the box. Headed away by Smith. It's going to fall nicely for Glenorchy. A shot but miscued. Hussein's strike blocked and Devonport can come the other way. End-to-end football on Valley Road. 15 minutes played. And a flying tackle from Faduga. Went in studs up and that one has hurt Jolivet. He did catch the ball. Smith grabbing at the shirt of Dillon, perhaps trying to slow play down while Jolivet remains prone on the ground. Glenorchy Knights continue to attack. Once again, Burkic getting around Dennehy. Firing it then over to the other side of the 18-yard box. Step over, back inside, fired on the left foot. Harper equal to it. No flag, and it's a goal for the Glenorchy Knights. A tap in at the goal mouth after the strike. And between Shigunkus and Hussein, they've contrived to get that one into the goals. And disappointing for the Devonport Strikers. While Jolivet was prone on the ground, Riley Dillon has pounced. And it's somewhat of a surprise here. The Glenorchy Knights take the lead. 1-0 they lead. And the Devonport strikers left with it all to do. Jolivet still smarting from that tackle. Harper will be disappointed not to have grasped onto that shot from the edge of the box. And then Riley Dillon had the simple job of just tapping in from point blank range. Now it'll be for Devonport strikers to ask the questions. Bates, then Sheen, then Smith. Back to Sheen as Devonport's try to work their way out. First time pass inside to Tolliver from Kelly. Tolliver has to hold off Fatuga and eventually earns a free kick. Tom Ballantyne, if you look closely, you will note, is not in the Devonport dugout today after having been sent off near the end of last week's fixture against South Hobart. So not in the dugout today. Left to the assistant coaches to guide the strikers through this one whilst out on the pitch. James Sherman has masterminded a few victories here at Valley Road for his Glenorchy Knights troop, particularly in 2024. He returns to Valley Road for the first time since retaking the reins at the helm of the Glenorchy Knights this season. Ball from Jolivet. Can Devonport equalise over the back post of Tolliver? A flag. Offside. So Devon once more given the task of putting the ball back into play. Devon long up towards the 18-yard box of the Devonport strikers. Smith heads down, then Hess. And it's a game of headed tennis at the moment. Verduga ends that with the volley forward. And played up towards Kelly. As Preble for company. Preble's sliding tackle puts it out of play just about on the halfway line. And Geordie Sheen will throw it back into play. Lines and flags, ball out of play, Glenorchy Knights throw in. So if you're just joining us, Riley Dillon, the difference between these two sides so far, having tapped home from point blank range after Harper spilled a shot from the edge of the box. And the second place Devonport strikers now trail the seventh place Glenorchy Knights. Now Glenorchy Knights, despite not having the results gone their way, have pushed several teams this season. So as if they've been blown out in their games. They challenged South Hobart, taking the lead there, eventually going down 2-1 earlier in the season. So that they are competitive here today comes as no great surprise. And James Sherman certainly has his troops well drilled and well coached, as you would expect from a former NPL Coach of the Year and a coach that has led his team to the championship. Right to Sheen, then back to Smith. Smith going longer up towards Tolliver, and then Kelly. Kelly in the direction of Payne, and Payne's header was higher, I think, than it was long, and doesn't challenge Devon in goals. Then with Glover, captain, strides out from the back for Knights, up towards Hussein, who traps it perhaps with height of his arm. The official on the blind side there, so he allows play to go on, thumped forward unceremoniously and agriculturally, and just goes straight to Devon. George. Then Hess. Headed down by Last and Dennehy. Devonport's 2 goal scorers from last week combining. Park. Bates. On the outside of the right, gets it in the direction of Kelly. Devonport have got into this position a few times. Can they find the final pass? In then to Tolliver. He's got about 4 white shirt company, and in the end, numbers win out. Ball given up there by Shagunkas, and Divin forced to make a little dive to his left-hand side to keep that one out of his own net. And he rolls it back into play through Preble. And Shagunkas. Likes to carry the ball, Shagunkas, on that occasion a little too much. And the pass intended for Payne a little heavy from Bates, or if not, there was miscommunication in the run and the pass. And it goes out for a goal kick. So we are at the midway point of this first half here at Rally Road, this round 8 NPL fixture. No cards brandished. 1 goal from Riley Dillon. Hasn't been a particularly fractious encounter thus far, all played in fairness. I wouldn't say the crowd has been particularly raucous either. It's been relatively muted thus far, perhaps because Devonport are trailing. Though in the Northern Championship fixtures today, local rivals Ulverston are playing the Devonport Championship teams, and so I would imagine the Ulverston supporters would be cheering on the Glenorchy Knights, not ones to want to see the Devonport Strikers victorious. And a bit of theatrics from Verdugo on field there. He got a bit of a shove from Bates, and then Verdugo making the very, very most of it as he went over. Once again, ball in from Jolivet. Devonport had a few of these dead ball opportunities. That one hooking, and it's going to go out. Devonport haven't quite yet made the best of those chances from those dead ball positions thus far. So as I mentioned, not particularly attritional, not particularly free-flowing either, but on this occasion Tolliver, then Kelly, Dennehy chasing down George calm under pressure. Jolivet nearly pinching that one from Hess. Last does well to shield the ball away from Hussain, and he gets the ball, a chance to move it forward. The switch is on to Sheen, he gets it out to Sheen. Sheen then to Kelly. And Kelly's got on the ball a lot in this position. Can they work their way through here, the Strikers? Glenorchy well organised. Tolliver to Kelly, to Last, who's made it all the way across the other side of the pitch from that run, and will have to wander his way back. Once again, Devonport forward here. Tolliver thunders that one off a few defenders. It comes to Dennehy. He cuts it back. Tolliver again. And the Devonport Strikers equal. A fantastic strike. And it's a dozen for Tolliver now this season. And on the strike of the 25th minute, he has equalised for the Devonport Strikers. And the Knights were defending like men behind castle walls there, many of them lined up, but it came from Dennehy to him, and Devonport arrived with cannon fire on that occasion and blasted down those walls. 1-1 it is. There is a conversation happening at the sideline here between the official and the linesman. Is this goal going to be ruled out? Or is it a question about something else? No, it is a goal. And Devonport had been asking the questions, and they found the answer. 1-1 it is. You heard the eruption of the Devonport Strikers and Valley Road faithful. And it is game on. And last. That one comes down with a bit of ice from the upper regions of the atmosphere and proved difficult to control. Last to Sheen, headed down by Viduka, away from Glover, Smith, and then last, Burkic on the right, skewed his volley inwards to Shagunkas, whose pass was errant. Park, now Smith. Devonport do have different tactical variations. Quite often they do play with three at the back when in possession and last pushes forward. Haven't seen that too frequently today. Last then. Looking to slip that one to Tolliver, an intelligent run from him. A cerebral player, Tolliver, and a blatant drag from last. And once upon a time, questions would be asked about brandishing a card for such infringements. On this occasion, not deemed necessary, but he does hold up the finger to last as if to say that's your warning. And the ball, Hussain has to look over his shoulder, brings it under his spell. He's got two to beat. Devonport strikers throw in. Once again, throw in, headed on by Dennehy. Payne dribbling away and has a few words in exchange with George. Now Sheen. Once more out to Kelly. Tolliver offering short. Kelly ignores that option and chooses to go to the byline. Now he's one-on-one out here still with Preble. Preble getting the better of him. Preble now has to dispatch of this, and he does so, putting it out of play. Sheen. Ticking towards the half-hour mark of what's been a relatively entertaining first half. Ball across the box, Dennehy. Had not the interception of Divin been there, he had beaten Burkic to the ball there. A nice little ball across the top of the 6-yard box, but Divin reading that and was always best placed to intercept. George asking for someone to come to show feet, and frustrated instead, turns, plays it backwards. A try on the other side with Glover. And Glover overhits that one well and truly. Takes a couple of bounces and then rolls out of play for a goal kick. Smith, then Park, now lasts. Park challenged, then Smith, one more over to Sheen. Now he's got a bit of grass to carry into. Park, Smith. Wormburner over to Bates, now Kelly. Back inside to Jolivet. Last is on for the switch, choosing not to hit that one there, Jolivet. Now to Bates, well he hit it. Comes to Park, Burkic will wander over, shut off the pass to Last. Last a little clip. Up to Payne, asking a lot of him. Viduka and Jolivet in again on each other. Lovely touch from Brady Last. But Glenorchy Knights win it back through Hess. Then Burkic pinched by Jolivet. Chance the Devonport strikers. A lovely spin away from Burkic. Rolls it back to Denny, who underhits that cross. Headed away by Viduka. Last. Bates composed. Then Jolivet. Frenchman and the Kiwi. Jolivet. One more to Sheen. Over in the box goes Tolliver, appealing to the linesman, asking for a favourable flag or whistle, and nothing doing. In the meantime, Glenorchy Knights go the other way. Past the half-hour mark now. And it looks like Shagunkus going over there. No whistle. Bates. Last. Jolivet is the pivot there. This is Bates finding himself out wide here. Bates up the line, finding Tolivet. He's going to have to cut this back. A lovely ball into the box, nearly to Payne. Real wed by Burkic, who heads away. Now Shagunkus with Bates. They have a wrestling match. No whistle. Dennehy wins it instead. He goes over and Dennehy wins a whistle. And they're into the face of each other there. Things getting a little raucous and fractious. Both the officials separating them. Once again, Devonport with a dead ball play. It is deep to be launching this one and not on a great angle to be playing it into the box. Is there a temptation to play it short? Once again, it is Jolivet. Difficult on this angle, and so it proves. Jolivet up highest and gets it back to Glover. Now with Dillon, who has a chance to run at the striker's defence. It's been a lot of Devonport strikers in the last 15 minutes. Glenorchy now get to the other end of the pitch. Preble. Carrier stopped his run and they've turned it over. Sloppy. Tolivet. Kelly. Bates, first time Viduka. Shagunkus. Glover and George. Pocket of space there for Hussain. Opts not to use him, does George, instead looking for the run of Burkic. Last there, blocks the cross. Bates chest and volley. Not quite clear and they're going to jump for it. Comes off the shoulder of Last. Hess then, he can shoot from range. He toes it out towards Shagunkus and Shagunkus. The ball ripped from him by Jolivet. The run from Tolivet now, and it's a good pass into him. Tolivet to Payne, his first time touch. He's intercepted by Burkic. Outnumbered there, Payne. But a quick movement from one end to the other. Good open football, what we like to see in NPL Tasmania. Good transition football. Quite often it is in those transitional moments, in those breakdowns of play, where those quick opportunities can come. And as is the case in modern football, most of it is played at this kind of tempo where teams are set in the low or mid block, and it is the task of the team with the ball to break them down. On this occasion, Tolivet and Sheen attempting to do just that. Now Smith. Does like to play it direct. Tolivet heads down. Payne has Last in an acre of space, doesn't use him. Now it's Jolivet. Bates providing a little bit of a screen on Carrier. Now Kelly. Keeps it in. Back to Sheen. Now to Bates. Pressure from Hussain. Dink into Payne, who goes down in the box under pressure, and a big wave of the arms from the official to indicate there's no foul there, despite a relatively theatrical fall from Payne. All it remains 10 minutes to play here in this first half, this round 8 NPL Tasmania fixture between the Devonport Strikers and Glenorchy Knights. Devonport Strikers second on the ladder, Glenorchy in 7th. Though on evidence today, perhaps you wouldn't suggest the golf in class is so wide. That said, Devonport have enjoyed the best of play and the most of the opportunities. Bates. Sheen. Get that under control, he says to Kelly. Hess then, and Glenorchy are struggling to get out of their half at the moment. Finding it tricky to maintain possession into their attacking final third. And it does seem to be mostly Devonport doing the probing at present. Then Park, Dennehy with a pocket of space, ignores the Dennehy option, goes to last. He chests down, Burkic with him. Then Dennehy, Bates, back to Park, then Dennehy, now last. Dennehy still there, last. Devonport trying to work out a way through. Jolivet comes over to help. Last is there, Dennehy there, gets it to last. And a good run from the pass not quite through. And a little groggy there, Burkic on the ground. The knee or shin of Jolivet hitting Burkic on the head. A slide from Payne. And the Devonport crowd enjoyed that. And Burkic in a bit of pain on the ground. Speaking of pain. And looks like we have a bit of a concussion protocol coming in to play here. At least there's indicating a knock on the head. I'm sure they will do the appropriate checks to make sure that Burkic is fit to continue. Perhaps Walpole could be an option, having played in the fullback position for Glenorchy, to come on if Burkic is not fit to continue. Walpole also plays in midfield, and he certainly likes to invert, as is the modern fashion when Glenorchy are in possession. Could give them an extra dimension, perhaps while they're struggling to maintain play through to their final third at the present. So we take a momentary pause to gather ourselves. There will obviously be some additional time played at the end of this half. Imagine 2 or 3 minutes. We'll get Burkic gingerly making his way off the pitch. He'll get away from the official when he's right to continue play. Now just a small matter of Glenorchy navigating these few moments with 10 men. Riley Dillon a long way back, taking a throw in. George carries it forward. And that one deemed to have come off Payne, despite his protestations. Dillon up towards Carrier. Hasn't seen that much of it the last 15-20, Carrier. It's been all the Devonport midfield. Then last, driving forward into the edge of the 18. Then to Kelly, a chance to play and shoot. Tolliver just out of his reach. A nice idea from Kelly, just not quite the execution. And the footballing guide from Football Australia. The 3 key components for a player. One is perception, one is decision making, and one is execution. The perception and the decision making on point.
So just come and get a plate and bring it out if you like. This side.
But not quite the execution there from Kelly. Headed away by the 100th game of Park. Hess, a veteran, and is coached at the head coach level here in Tasmania. Key midfield cog for this Glenorchy Knights outfit. Sherman stalking the sideline on the other side of the pitch. 5 minutes remaining in regulation, first half time. Then to Hess. I think more of a cross there than a shot. And into Tiger Harper's welcoming arms. And out to last. Will there be a break to the deadlock here in these final minutes of this first half? Devonport switch through Smith. No, he turns back and comes back towards last. Bobbly bouncing ball. Oh, and then last a bit sloppy. Gives it to Hess. Here's an opportunity for Glenorchy. Smith gets a toe in and snuffs out that. Lovely touch from Bates in midfield, outside of the right towards the run of Tolove, who has the pace advantage over Viduka. He drags it back into the box, over the head of Payne, nearly to Dennehy, but not quite. And Hess clears away. Once again, Devonport asking the questions. Park on a mazy run, gets it to Payne. There's Dennehy. He cuts it back inside towards Park, who just overrun it. A lovely idea from Payne. Payne, then to Jolivet. Payne, Bates. Jolivet. Last. Then Park. Back to last. And eventually, shortage of options, they decide to switch play. Smith. Tolove controls well. Lovely football from the Devonport strikers. Into Dennehy, lovely touch back to Jolivet. Then to Tolove. Delightful from the Devonport strikers. Tolove a bit too handsy there with George and penalised for grabbing the sleeve. Free kick the other direction. And Sherman remonstrating with the linesman on the other side, probably saying how many times are you going to penalise them before brandishing a card. Divin then. One could argue that in this first half, aside from the 2 goals, there hasn't been much in the way of serious goalkeeping required from Harper or Divin. Very much a midfield battle. And it has been largely the way of Devonport. That could all change here. Dillon with the overlap from Shagunkas. He's a little wide to strike. Can he cut back on his left? Step over, down the right. Cuts back again on the left. Headed away. Fancy footwork. Not the finish. And the referee stopping play, not liking what he's seeing between Carrier and Last, perhaps. And he's saying no more. I wonder what that was a result of. Jolivet, now the Devonport strikers on the counter. That one overhit will favour Divin outside his box, so he'll have to go by foot. And he does. He gets it up past the halfway line and a throw in. We edge towards the final minutes of regulation time in this first half at Valley Road. Smith. Then into Kelly. Towed away. Smith. And speed from Shigankas in there through. Glenorchy Knights in the box all by himself. It's Hussain, and he goes by himself. He rattles the crossbar. And from a tight angle, he took on the shot. And whilst he did beat Harper and strike the crossbar, Hussain was all by himself on the penalty spot. He should have cut it back, and it would have been an open net. Maybe there was plays in between him and Hussain, but Glenorchy Knights may come to rue that missed opportunity, as we're out of nothing. That chance came, and a wrestling match ensuing between Payne and Glover. The referee over to once again signal to them no more. And despite the number of times the referees had to say no more of that, there are still no disciplinary concerns for either side, no cards being given out. Shigankas, just other than the 2 goals, he has come the closest to getting his name on the score sheet. Thundering that off the crossbar, when perhaps cutting it back to the open Hussain was the play. Volley forward from Bates, no one home for the Devonport strikers. And Payne alive there and pinched that one. And in the end, outnumbered into additional time. Again, due to the head knock to Burkic, I imagine we'll probably have 2 or 3 minutes. Dennehy leaves that one behind. Burkic. Hess mishits that one. Was looking to dink it over towards Shagunkus and didn't find him. Bates. To Kelly with Preble. These two resume pleasantries. Kelly. Back to Sheen. Then Jolivet. Outside of the right towards Payne. Glover. And Glover agriculturally long up the line, just wanting to clear the danger, and certainly the wise play in the dying moments of the half. All eyes on the official. No indication that the whistle's imminent, so play continues. Dillon bumped into by Sheen, so Dillon's touch is heavy. Jolivet. There it is, exactly 2 minutes of added time, and play is brought to a halt here at Valley Road at the end of the first half. 2 goals, one in the 15th minute from Riley Dillon, where he was at the toes of Harper, who spilt a shot from the edge of the box and had the simplest of jobs of tapping home. He gave Glenorchy Knights a surprise lead, and then 10 minutes later, Joshua Tolliver from a Brody Dennehy pass, once again adding his name to the scoring sheet. Continuing his fantastic record to start the season. So 1-1 it is going into this break for this round 8 NPL Tasmania fixture between the Devonport Strikers and Glenorchy Knights. All to play for both sides. Glenorchy to kick-start their season, Devonport to keep the pressure on South Hobart. We'll be back in 15 minutes to see how the second half unfolds.
We've made some new hires. Ooh.
Introducing Macca's Korean Barbecue Dunk Range.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving it.
Welcome back to this second half of this NPL Round 8 fixture between the Devonport Strikers and the Glenorchy Knights. 1-1. It finished in the first half. Riley Dillon on target for the Glenorchy Knights and Joshua Tolliver on target for the Devonport Strikers. Both teams we're looking to find a way to break the deadlock here in this second 45. A quick glance tells me the Devonport Strikers have made a change. Geordie Payne has been removed and replaced by Courage Lewa. So one chess piece has been moved in this game. A few more plays to be made.
We've made some new hires. Ooh.
Just tends to go straight out of play in the opposition's half. Certainly wasn't how the game was played 20 years ago. But nor is the tiki-taka playing out from the back, playing through the thirds style football that has evolved as a consequence of Spanish and Dutch coaches in the last 20 years. And we're long, and we're live. Smith down to Jolivet. The 100th gamer, Connor Park, to last. Park, then back to last. Park, then Smith fizzes one out towards Sheen. Then into Dennehy, he gets it back. Kelly. Can't get one in towards Bates, and now with Carrier. This one out towards Bain, who has come on for the Glenorchy Knights. Bain looks to get it back to Burkage, but Lay was there and he gets it out of play. Burkage to take throw in. And Bain missed control. Goal kick for the Devonport Strikers. So it looks as if Hussein has been removed for the Glenorchy Knights, replaced by Bain. Sheen and then Smith. Smith to Park. And he looks direct. And Divin across. Gathers gratefully. Rolls it out to Burkage, who comes inside to Hess, who can turn on it and race forward. He gets it to Dillon, who gets it on the half turn as well. He sets a challenge for Carrier, and Carrier gets the better of Jolivet. Carrier still going. He fires, and it's off both crossbars, and it's to the penalty spot. And the shot is blocked when Dillon had a chance to make a second. Desperate defending from the Devonport Strikers keeps that one in play. But Carrier on the left-hand side was allowed to wander into the box, took his time, picked his spot, rolled it off the inside of the left-hand post, bounced off the right-hand post, fell to Dillon. His strike was blocked. A goalmouth scramble in the most old-fashioned ways, but cleared in the end. And the score remains at 1-1. And George direct up to Bain. Bain a larger and more physical presence than Hussein up there. Perhaps the reason for the change. And the roll ball forward to Courage Lewa. His first chance to run at the Glenorchy Knights defence. Hess across to help. And agriculturally clears that one out over the fence. Burkage. Hess. To the running Bain. Harper overruns it. Bain was there, but Harper in the end Managed to scamper back and throw himself onto the ball, keep Bain from poking into an open net. Sheen back to Smith. Smith miscuing that strike. Preble and Kelly. And in this case, Preble thumps it up onto the new grandstand. Play resumes. Tolliver taking on Glover. Glover getting himself in between Tolliver and the ball. Not quite seeing it out though. George will come across. Not quite cleared. Smith. So Glenorchy Knights, be on them to put the ball back into play. Divin gets the ball back into play. Headed on by Bain. Controlled by Kelly. His little pass towards base is there, and Shagunkas with a chance to go forward, a step over, he gets to the byline. Plays it back, he has Preble for support. He goes over under pressure from Kelly. And a free kick to the Glenorchy Knights deep on the right wing for them. Haven't had too many dead ball opportunities to get it into the box. The Glenorchy Knights, a good chance for them here. Dylan and Karia stand over it. Very much looks like a design play here for the runs from the Glenorchy Knights. They get it into a relatively empty 18-yard box. Hess, his shot blocked by Last's back. Headed down by George, headed away by Kelly, falls to Carrier, hits the first time and scuffs it terribly wide of goals. Devonport get it back into play quickly. The animus of Park. Park longer up towards Tolliver. They'll battle forward in the midfield. Eventually comes the feet of Courage Lewa. Then to Last. Last spins on it a couple of times. Kazkaria for company. Gets it to Lewa, who's challenged by Burkic. He loses out. They're flying in here at Valley Road. Connor Park, nowhere to go. Gets it to Last. He comes back out. And Jolivet backtracking. Park under pressure. Back to Jolivet. They're going to have to switch the play here, the Devonport Strikers. It's congested in there, and they do so through Smith and Sheen. Sheen then, looks like Bates. Smith. And they'll continue probing down the right wing. Park asking Lewa to run onto that one, and he does well enough to get in there with George. George under pressure from Lewa, puts it out of play. Devonport Strikers throw in. Last driving into the top of the 18. And the white shirts went out there. Bates over towards the back post. Preble there first, cleared away. Another throw in for the Devonport Strikers. Ball over towards the back post. Now the smallest man on the pitch, Lewa, jumps. Has he done enough to win a corner? He has not. It is a goal kick. Several minutes played here at Valley Road in the second half. The deadlock remains. And next week, these two sides will resume pleasantries once again, an oddity of the fixture. And that they face each other this week here at Valley Road in the league, and then the draw is played out as such that in the semi-finals of the Jack Cup, the men's statewide cup, they will play again here at Valley Road next week. But thoughts of next week far away from the minds of the players on the pitch and the coaches on the sidelines. Bradley Chilcott standing in place of the absent Tom Ballantyne in the Devonport dugout. James Sherman commanding his troops from the sideline for the Glenorchy Knights. Carrier with Jolivet, Layway in there as well, and Devonport do enough to win a throw-in. Throw-in in the direction of Tolliver, has George and Hess with him. Spins around George. Can he get it into the box? He does. Cleared away. The captain for Glenorchy Knights. That one bounces off Burkish, didn't know much about it. Comes to Tolliver again, clips towards the back post. Kelly was there, but not first to it. Came to Labour, who dove in, studs up. A little dangerous on Viduka. What will be the result here? Just a free kick. Will a yellow card be brandished? Doesn't seem to be an intention to give a slice of cheese to Labour, so we will continue play here. Some 10 minutes gone this first half. No cards yet. Hasn't been a particularly raucous or fractious game here at Valley Road. A few small heated moments, but it's been played relatively fairly by both sides. Longer than Smith, all alone, heads away. And Burkich's volley, out of play. Once again, Smith nodding forward, flicked by last, no one home. George will gather, and here goes route one. Dispensing with, toying with playing it out, going direct, didn't work out on that occasion. Now Park. Asking a bit of Tolliver, the linesman flags at Tolliver. Came from an offside position. It's a challenge for that ball. And a slow start to this second half. Valley Road, not much in the way of goalmouth action. Will this change here? The flick from Jolivet to Bates. And he plays it out towards Kelly. Once again with Preble on the left wing. Rolls in the direction of Denny here, overhit. And Glover, happy to see that one out of play. Over the byline. Speaking of next week's semi-final of the Jack Cup, the men's statewide cup here at Devonport between Glenorchy and Devonport. 2 years ago, they played a semi-final of the statewide cup here at Valley Road. These two sides in which extra time, and Glenorchy Knights triumphed 3-2 on that occasion. Kelly allowed to run nearly the length of the pitch into the box, cuts it back. Off leg, so Glover had to keep it in, and with no other ideas, he just puts it out of play. Ticking towards the hour mark at Valley Road. Both sides have made the one change. Can we expect further changes? The hour mark is where we'd expect them. Tolliver, can he add another? Blocked. Last has Park for support, uses him. And then Smith, he has Sheen, instead opting to go longer in the direction of Last. It's paid off well. Last into the box, and it looks like that's come off the Glenorchy Knights. It'll be a corner for the Devonport Strikers at the Valley Road end here at Tasmania Valley Road, the Portress. Second place Devonport Strikers taking on the 7th placed Glenorchy Knights. Devonport looking to get the season back on track after a disappointing result last week away to South Hobart. Glenorchy and brought with them some momentum into this game after beating Ulverston and then beating South East United in the Cup in their last 2 fixtures. Corner to the near post, headed down, a save, came to the feet of Park, who couldn't prod it home. And Diven was equal to the challenge there. He threw out his right arm, but he only dropped it to the feet of Park, who couldn't quite get his toe to it, and it was cleared. And the Glenorchy Knights live to fight another day. Once again, the corner to come in. Devonport strikers near post. Diven fists that one away. And Shagunkas and Lewa. Lewa's tackle, putting the ball for throw in. Bain hooks it up the line in the direction of Shagunkas. Smith, Bates, Bain, Jolivet, and Carrier. He gets it towards Lewa, bounces off several shins and eventually ricochets to Devonport. Kelly, and a flying tackle from Glover, heavy on Kelly, who's up early. Dennehy puts Glover under pressure, and Preble clears. Shagunkas shielding it from Bates, then Carrier. Looks to play it in behind to Bain, but there was no run, and it was more in hope than in a deliberate fashion. Park under pressure. Harper, Dillon putting in a good sprint there. Some forward pressure. Now Bates. Bates looking to get it in behind to Tolliver. Glover does well. Towards Carrier. Not quite there, so out of play. Didn't want to have a throw in. Sheen. Then Bates. Back to Smith. Smith to Bates. Then Tolliver. Tolliver goes over. No whistle. Sheen and Carrier. Sheen to Smith. Dillon there. Smith nearly leaves it behind. And Dillon going over in the tackle from Smith. They exchange a few words. Smith feeling like Dillon went over a little easily. Hess having words with the referee in the centre of the park. Preble on this one. Devonport players complaining that Glenorchy stolen 3 or 4 yards. Preble towards the back post. It's long though and easily favours Harper, who gathers and then launches Devonport strikers in the other direction. Lewa has caught the defence snapping. He gets it towards Brody Dennehy. Verduga doing well to track his run and intercept. And then George and then Carrier towards Dillon, but Park there. And he volleys out of play to Coach Chilcott. George Verduga. He's challenged. And the whistle against Tolliver. A little soft, but seems to have impeded. We're past the hour mark now. Players warming up on the sidelines. Will we see a change? Are there any imminent? And a long switch goes out of play. Smith, Harper, Park, Smith, off the head of Dennehy. Carrier gets it higher than it was long. As they scrap for it. Glenorchy with a great number of white shirts there, so They won out and got it long forward, but Devonport can now spring back in the other direction. Sheen, then Kelly. Back to Sheen. Nearly 20 minutes played here in this first half. Not too much goalmouth action to speak of. One save from Divin. Other than that, pretty quiet in goalmouth, as it has been for much of the game, aside from the goals. Both sides struggling to break down that last line of defence. Divin tested a little more than Harper. However, Viduka and Hess. Lovely volley towards Dylan. Dylan then can carry, overlapping from Burkitt's chance for the Glenorchy Knights. Cuts back to Karia and it was awkward and it was behind him and it was a volley. And there wasn't much pace on it and Harper in the end not challenged. Sheen. Bates. Smith. Into Tolliver. Devonport strikers worked that out well. Bates. Dennehy peeling wide. Space opening up. Tolliver with the run. Bates continuing his run. Gets to Tolliver. He's wide now. He's got to look for an option. A little dink towards the back post. Hits the crossbar and then hits Lewa on the head. Divin knew nothing about it, nor did Lewa, and it somehow stays out of the goals and Glenorchy Knights come the other way. Certainly wasn't the design in the cross from Tolliver. That wasn't the purpose, but an odd moment of play as his cross-come shot hit the crossbar, hit Lewa, fell to no one, and then was cleared away. Hess then. Chance for Glenorchy, the game opening up as the legs of the players tire. Shagunkas has seen step over, back inside, touches heavy, gives a look, no foul there, play allowed to go on. And Kelly carrying, Kelly fouled late, the linesman flags. And the officials lost who it was. He's eventually told by his linesman. It was number 6 who gets the first slice of cheese here in the 67th minute for Duga for a late challenge on Kelly. Some momentary pause in play whilst Dylan remonstrates with the referee. Still we wait. Seems to be some kind of issue here we're waiting for. So we're past the halfway mark of this second half. 1-1 remains. Will we find a break to this deadlock? And the ding forward from Sheen favours the defence. Bates to Sheen, back to Bates. In towards Tolliver, a chance here then, tackled heavily by Glover. Appeals from the crowd for a foul, wasn't there. Dylan striding forward. Dylan, we know how dangerous he is. Tackled away, Devonport got numbers back, made it difficult for him. Step overs, and the shot from Shagunkas blocked. It'll be a corner for the Glenorchy Knights. Is this the moment for Glenorchy? Still no changes from the sidelines. Carrier on this one. Carrier fires towards the near post. Oliver read it best, nods away. Tolliver has Bates in support, opts not to use him and tries to turn Preble, eventually does. Now Dennehy with the run. Lewa's open on the right-hand side. He's got the touch, he's got the finish, and he's got the goal! And the warning signs were there! And like distant thunder, the Devonport strikers have struck like lightning from one end of the pitch to the other. Encouraged Lewa with a composed finish. It is the Devonport Strikers who lead 2-1 just inside the 70th minute. The substitute proving the difference at the moment. The deadlock broken. And all set up from wonderful play from Tolliver. It came direct from the corner, headed away by Jolivet. Tolliver, as the ball came to him, Bates was the obvious option. Instead of using him, he spun away, got the better of his defender, Denny. He drew the Glenorchy defence over to the left wing, leaving Lewa all by himself on the right wing. He fizzed the pass out towards him. Lewa's touch was perfect, and his finish was even better. And now the Devonport Strikers lead 2-1. Smith toes away, not convincingly. Glenorchy with an opportunity. Shagunkas and Kelly. Kelly uses Sheen, pressure from Dylan, and Devonport just get it out of the danger zone. Now Glenorchy. Carrier fizzes it in towards Dylan, not a bad idea, but Smith alive to the danger. Down to Denny, back to Kelly. His first time ball was exceedingly ambitious and was cut out by Glover. And they've copped it up here, the Glenorchy Knights. Tolliver on the angle, he has to cut it back. Does, Lewa not there. Glenorchy escape there. Pressure on Glenorchy to get it forward now. 20 minutes, they've got to chase the game. Looks like we have a substitution imminent for the Glenorchy Knights. Burkic, Shagunkas, calling for the ball out in the wing. Ball comes in the direction. Intercepted. Glover. George. Last is going to let that one go. Use his body to shield it. And keeps it away. Goal kick to the Devonport Strikers, and we have a substitution here for the Glenorchy Knights. 72nd minute. Departing the pitch will be Shagunkas. And coming on for him, Thomas Walpole. Looks like he's going to take up a position in midfield, a bit of shuffling around. Perhaps needed from that. Walpole. Burkic. Then Glover. Now Preble. And now it looks like it's going to be all Glenorchy Knights as they chase the game. Can Devonport use that to their advantage? Use the space in the Glenorchy Knights defence. Bain fighting for it there. Gets it back to Preble. Spins away from Tolliver. Walpole. George. Then Burkic. Hess inside. He can open up play. Opts to use Bain. Great tackle from Kelly. Excellent defence. The pass not equal to the tackle. Viduka then. Under pressure from Tolliver. Then Glover. Walpole. To make a run, cut it back. Glover. Spreading the play to Burkic. He has Lewa with him. Cuts inside. Burkic on the right foot. It's very highly clipped. Walpole under it. Would have taken some header given the lack of pace on that because of the height of the cross. But it beat everyone. And Harper takes it and just slows down play, knowing there's 15 minutes between Devonport and another 3 points. As I mentioned, these two sides will resume pleasantries again next week, so it's not as if they'll be done for another several rounds. We'll be back here next week doing exactly the same. Smith. Goes longer towards last. Devonport try to play their way out. Pressure from Glenorchy. They've done well, the Devonport strikers. They've broken the first line. The ball from last only cleared away then. Looked to be handled by Hess, but play goes on. Warple with a bit of space in front of him. Hess taking up some of that grass. Hess on the outside. Warple opts not to use him and is closed down in the end by Tolliver, who's tracked back a long way for that. Preble with the throw in. Zach Preble then into Barry Carrier. He and Bates wrestle for it. And Tolliver again spinning the defence. Dennehy looking to get it forward. Maybe he thought Bates would continue to run, not the case. Bates arms wide, appealing to the official for a free kick, or perhaps asking why wasn't one awarded against Carrier as they cleared the ball. Dennehy pressing George. Smith calls. Bates looking to get it to Jolivet. Jolivet and Carrier. And then a little unceremoniously forward from Bates. That one hits last in the neck. Last, back to Park, the 100th gamer. Devonport captain, Dom Smith. Sprays one out towards Leo, asking a bit much to keep that one in play. And out of play it goes. 14 minutes remain at Valley Road. Can Glenorchy Knights level the score? Or is this another 3 points destined into the Devonport strikers' treasury? Walpole, a big run from Bain, put in the hard yards, deflects off Bain. Now is Sheen, has to take on Walpole. Physicality from both players, but fair. Kelly, back to base, that has to go direct, and it does. Dennehy in there, arm over the shoulder from Verduga. Dennehy battling well there. Kelly has Jolivet, gets it to him, lovely play. Lawa peeling out wide, ball into Dennehy, a chance for the strikers. What can they create to Tolliver? George across strong. Tolliver happy to see that one out for a corner. And the Devonport strikers, opportunity to put one into the box, challenge Divon in goals. Two one for the Devonport strikers. Tolliver and Labour on target for them. We'll take a moment to draw breath. Vim, Verve and Vigor have the last few minutes been played in as Glenorchy chased the game into the back post this time. Headed down, Goldmouth scramble, cleared away. Bates there with Dillon. Bates and Dillon. And in the end, coughed up. Hess, Park getting back. Opts not to bring Hess down. Hess then into Carrier. He's going to have to play back. Opts to go to Dillon instead. And sets a real task for Bain. 4-on-1 at the back. Though in the end, the touch from last sees it out of play, and Glenorchy will have the ball up the field. Another substitution here. Carrier coming off for the Glenorchy Knights. And Copland on for him. So a few changes have been used. For Glenorchy, looks like we do have a change for the Devonport strikers. It will be Liam Kelly making way. and Sturzica replacing him. Devonport changing formation a bit, going to a back five. Of sorts. Sturzica perhaps a bit more defensive, or is it a like-for-like task? For Sturzica, we'll find out. Jolivet spinning away into the channel for Tolliver. He cuts inside. Cut out. Jolivet, who's in class channel, tackled by Viduka, and that's another foul. And this one in a better position for the Devonport strikers in terms of an angle and a position to launch a free kick into the box. Devonport will get some of their taller timber forward in Park and Smith and look to challenge for this one in the air. 10 minutes to play. Once again, play just slowing down as we await the free kick. Jolivet into the box, off Preble, corner ball. Jolivet will wander over to the corner, and Devon will have another opportunity to deliver into the box. They say around 3% of corners directly result in a goal. Devonport have had quite a few today. Is this one of the vanishing 3%? It will result in a goal. Jolivet. Once again, that looks like it's going to be a corner. No, flagged for goal kick. Linesman overruling the central referee. Goal kick to the Glenorchy Knights. They've got 9 minutes plus added time to impact this game. Is there a twist in the tail? Is there a third for Devonport? Is there an equaliser for Glenorchy? Is there further drama? Stay tuned to find out. That header flicked on. Devonport with a throw. Devonport in no hurry really to get this one back into play in these final minutes. Viduka. Dennehy skews the volley a little. Favours Burkitt, whose touch is heavy. Difficult one to control. Talaiwa. He peels away from George. Last run is great. It gets it to him into the 6-yard box, cleared away by Glover, who had made the run to cut off the line of delivery to Tolliver. And we have another substitution for the Glenorchy Knights. This is their final roll of the dice. Sherman's final chess piece to move around. It's Viduka who will make way. And Clothier, who comes onto the pitch. No more further movement on the benches. I think that's both coaches have shown their hands. These 22 will look like they'll be the final ones to play it out. Touch and pass a little heavy there from last in the direction of Lewa. Glenorchy Knights with it again. Is it route one time or do they play it out? They're going to go route one. It looks like Glenorchy. Just under 7 minutes remaining of regulation, and we'll have added time. Might only be 2 or 3 minutes there. We haven't had too much in terms of unneeded stoppages. There have been several substitutes. That will, I'm sure, be taken into account. Tolliver once again running in the channels. And he takes on George. Also there is Burkitt. He's 2-on-1. He's doing well to hold on. He somehow gets it to Lewa. Terrific from Tolliver. He's been tireless all day. Scored the equaliser. Devonport look to switch. Sturzica will peel out wide. Smith cutting back. And to Jolivet. Last there. Jolve opts to come to the other side of the pitch once more. Smith, left-footed. Only gets it to Pebble. Sturzica, might even be his first touch. Back to Sheen. Bates inside, uses him. Lovely touch. Sturzica, waiting for the defenders to come. Dennehy, back to Sturzica. Tolove is the next option and they use him. Bates, Devonport working this well. Bates will come back and Devonport will look to rotate, and all the while taking time off the clock. Do Glenorchy have to push men forward. Not pulling that trigger just yet. And a 1-2 between Sturzica then and Bates. Bates spinning away, and once more Devonport reset. In no hurry. And Sherman finally letting his frustration go from the sideline, urging Glenorchy to press high, to force Devonport to play it long. Harper finally does that. Under pressure from Copland. Off the Glenorchy Knights player. Throwing for the Devonport Strikers, no hurry. To get that one back into play, into the final 5 minutes. Park up the line. Burkic. As the sun sets around Valley Road, the lights are on here in this round 8 NPL Tasmania fixture between the Devonport Strikers and Glenorchy Knights. 2-1, the Devonport Strikers lead. The goal into Tolove from Laowa. Can he spin? He does and gets the shot away, but under heavy pressure from George, he made that difficult to put his strike goalward. In the end, it is a goal kick. But he's been a constant problem all day for the Glenorchy Knights defence. Tolove. Good play from Laowa there to get it to him. And direct there to Walpole. Awkward to control, and his touch doesn't quite get it under his spell. Out of play instead. The percentage play up the line. Laowa slips. No appeal for the free kick, and nor does the referee pay it much heed. Glenorchy just edging it around the back. They can't afford to be too precious and careful here. Preble up the line, was looking for the run from Copland, wasn't there. And instead, the Devonport Strikers can just take some more time off the clock, just wander over slowly Harper and pick up the ball. 2-1, they protect their lead. And this is only the first half of the chess match, as we'll see both sides again here next week in the Lacquer Cup. Today it is the Devonport Strikers who lead. And it is Ballantyne and Chilcott who've got the better of Sherman. And a slice of cheese, it looks like, for Brady Last, just for delaying play. The first one for Devonport Strikers player. In and then back out again. And once again, Devonport will take their time in taking this throw in. Last wants to be careful not to pick up a second yellow card, and risk a red card. Slowing down play again. He goes over. It'll be a free kick for the Devonport Strikers. The linesman waving that one, convincing the referee to blow his whistle. And Jolve in no hurry. Now, despite the terrific counter from the Devonport Strikers that led to their goal, there hasn't been too much in the way of goalmouth action. Will we get some here? Jolve into the box, headed away. Bain Then Burkich cutting inside on the right foot, spreads the play. It's going to be intercepted. No, Walpole was alive to that. Took a few steps forward. Then Preble. Then Hess. Nice have to get this one forward. Final minute of regulation time. Then we'll be into added time. Glover waiting for an option that he likes. He gets it to Hess. He's got Burkich wider. He goes looking to play it in behind instead. And the referee's blowing the whistle. Looks like the blood rule for George. So as they chase the game here, the Glenorchy Knights, they're going to have to continue with just 10 men momentarily while George gets attention from the Glenorchy Knights trainer. Not ideal for the Glenorchy Knights in these pressure moments. We are into added time. There has been a lot of time in this last 10-15 minutes where the ball hasn't been active on the field. Throw-ins and corners, free kicks and pauses like this for the blood rule. Harper picks it up. And away to Park. Devonport look to get to the other end of the pitch, headed away by Glover. Down to Copland, who spins Sturzica, Label with him. Sturzica tracking back, he goes over, no foul, side to side, indicates the referee. Is there a third in the wings here for Devonport? To Dennehy. Hits it towards Tolliver, is it overhit? No, Tolliver will keep it in play. Bain with him, and he takes it to the corner just to take more time off the clock. We'll tick into the second minute of added time here. He wanted a corner. Remonstrates with the linesman, but that's not going to change his mind. Glenorchy Knights. Time to play direct, time to go route one. Time to get men forward for them. Last roll of the dice, the Hail Mary. Is it there for the Glenorchy Knights? Dylan spins, plays it in behind to Burkich. Is at the moment. They all dive in. The whistle's been blown. No indication of what for. Is it a penalty? Is it a pause in play for injury? Is it a corner? It looks like the whistle was just to stop play because of the sliding tackle into Harper. Harper flew out. Burkich was tracking back. They all slid in. The ball ended up out of play. What is the official's decision? The crowd left in suspense as we wait here. So we tick now into the third minute of added time. Is there drama to finish this game here? And no, I'm going to venture on the basis of the yellow card there for the Glenorchy Knights player. Unclear to us here perhaps who that might have been for, perhaps Hess. But I'd say that the yellow card will be for remonstrations regarding the penalty not being awarded, and the Glenorchy Knights players flooding back. Clear indication that's not the case and that the stoppage was instead perhaps for a free kick against Burkich for sliding in against Last and Harper. Either or is it a drop ball? And a little subtle indication there from the referee to a player who asked, as I was watching him, he held up two fingers, perhaps an indication that we're still going to have 2 minutes to play at Valley Road as we now check into the fourth minute of added time. Another long stoppage there. Long from Harper. Is there a twist in the tail here of Valley Road, this round 8 fixture in NPL Tasmania? The Devonport Strikers, Glenorchy Knights. Glenorchy have to throw the kitchen sink here. It does come to Copland. Is this the moment? He sneaks past Smith. He pulls the trigger. It's deflected. Wonderfully blocked from Sheen. And it is a corner. Terrific play from Copland. Glenorchy look to get it back into play quickly. Keepers coming up. Divins coming up. They're throwing all men forward. If they don't get it, the Devonport Strikers can counter. So it is Dylan over it. Dramatic final moments at Valley Road. Into the box. It's towards Divin. It's cleared away. It's to the top of the box. Burkic dinks it back in. Is there an offside? No flag. Headed away by Last. Comes to Copland. Then Dillon. Final moments. Back post. Punched away by Harper. To the chest of Clothier. Then to the top of the box. Bain. Into the box. They haven't cleared it yet. The strikers. Copland. And then Harper saves. Dramatic moments. Copland with the final chance perhaps of the game. Harper down onto it. He grabs it. He'll be in no rush. Divin had time to get back to his goals. An incredible final moment there. Glenorchy Knights inches away from a late equaliser. And we have the final whistle despite final dramatic moments. It is the Devonport Strikers who emerge victorious at Valley Road in this round 8 NPL Tasmania fixture. 2-1 it finishes at Valley Road. Glenorchy took the lead early on through Riley Dillon in the 15th minute, I think it was. Tolliver then in the 25th minute equalised for the Devonport Strikers. And Courage Labour, the substitute for the Devonport Strikers, making the difference, driving home a Tolliver pass, gifting Devonport Strikers the victory. This will consolidate second place on the ladder for the Devonport Strikers as they now chase down South Hobart. Glenorchy Knights, their unfortunate season continues as they will remain no higher than 7th in the ladder. Some soul searching to do for James Sherman and the Glenorchy Knights. Once again very close this match following the pattern against South Hobart a few weeks ago where they took the lead and lost 2-1. Competitive they continue to be, the Glenorchy Knights, but the results not coming their way. The Devonport Strikers emerging victorious despite the absence of Tom Ballantyne on the sideline. The final score, 2-1 to the Devonport Strikers. I've been Camille Douglas. Thank you for tuning in to this Football Tasmania coverage today. We hope you've enjoyed it. We'll be back next week for the double header here at Valley Road in the Statewide Cup semi-finals, the Lacazette Cup for the Devonport Strikers men and the Statewide Cup for the women. We'll see you then.